Can you hear me well? So we're not a survey company, but since we're following one, I'm going to start with a quick survey. Can you all stand up, please? Yeah, all of you. It's going to energize the room right after a coffee break. So who doesn't have a PayPal account, please sit down. Okay, so good awareness here. Okay, that's good, good penetration. Okay, so now of all of you who are standing, and if you have a PayPal account but you only use it outside of the UAE or outside of the region, please sit down. Okay, so about, let's say, 60 to 70% of the room is using it locally, which is great. Now, if you have a PayPal account and you use it here, but you also use COD, please sit down. Okay, so, So most of you, if I understand, so you have a PayPal account, but you use COD as well, which is interesting. So we're going to talk about COD now. We're also going to talk about mPayments and electronic payments. And so first, I'm going to give you a little bit of a state of, the size of e-commerce in the region, what we mean by omni-channel, and then I'm going to give you a bit more information on PayPal and the initiatives that we're doing in the region. So when you look at commerce in general, so not just e-commerce, but commerce, so retail, offline commerce, it's around $10 trillion worldwide. So that's a huge number. But if you look at online commerce right now, it's just 10% of that. So it means two things. The first one is that e-commerce can grow dramatically and can catch up to offline commerce. But also what we believe is that online commerce can help grow the pie and increase the $10 trillion to even larger numbers. If you look at e-commerce in the Middle East, it is booming. We estimate that in 2015 it will reach $15 billion. And if you look at the number of internet users, but also e-shoppers, it's increasing dramatically every year. It went from 25 million to 30 million, and in 2013 to 35 million. So every year, we're gaining almost 5 to 10 million internet shoppers just in the region. And all those shoppers are spending more, they're learning more about e-commerce, and they're buying from all over the region, but also from all over the world. If you look at mCommerce, so there's been a lot of talks today and yesterday at ArabNet around mPayments, mCommerce, around mobile platforms. So what we see in the region right now is that almost 20% in 2015 of e-commerce, so total online payments, but online and all platforms will be from mobiles. So when we talk about mPayments, we don't talk really about NFC, but our people buying from their phones, so whether smartphones or tablets, so people that are on the move. And when you look at those 20% in the UAE or in MENA, it's actually very similar to what we see outside of the region. So we've seen numbers about smartphone penetration in the region, and actually KSA and UAE are the countries in the world which has the largest smartphone penetration. So it makes sense that already the trends in terms of payments, in terms of buying from e-commerce websites, is also catching up in the region, and will reach $3 billion in 2015. So that's a 6-time growth in just 5 years, which is just incredible. In terms of the GCC itself, so the market sizes and the behaviors, so what we're seeing right now is, of course, the UAE is the most mature market, is the one that has reached almost $3 billion in 2012, will go over $5 billion in 2015, so dramatic growth, incredible consumptions, and also KSA is catching up. So if you look at the population size, it's still, KSA is still a bit lagging behind, because again, it's a less mature market. People are using more cash on delivery, as we'll see a bit later. They're using debit cards and not credit cards. And the problem is that in a lot of the regions, debit cards don't work online. And so they're either, they're not working because of the banks, or sometimes when they are working and they want to buy from online, whether in the region or outside the region, those debit cards are declined. So that's a huge obstacle for local consumers, for KSA consumers, but even MENA consumers to buy from all over the world. And if you look at annual spending per people, and per categories. So the biggest one, of course, is travel, because on average, the ticket price is quite expensive. And then the next one is electronics and computers, everything that you expect from the Middle East, where there's a huge appetite for new technologies, for innovation, for new trends. And we see that in the average spending per people. But of course, all of that is growing and is catching up to the rest of the world, and sometimes leading in terms of trends. In terms of COD. So COD, cash on delivery, today is still 80% of e-commerce. What we expect is that it will decrease for the benefit of electronic payments. So that includes credit cards, but also PayPal. So our view on COD is the following, is that when you're a merchant website and you offer COD to your customers, you're already corrupting your user base, because you're offering them an option which you feel is mandatory. And once it's on, then you can never take it away, supposedly, and I'll go into that in a moment. But if you offer it, then people will use it, and you'll have great sales. But if you need to offer COD in order to have those sales, it means that your products are not unique enough. And it means that you need to rethink your whole business model, because if you believe that that's the only way that you can sell to the region, it means that you're either just a me too of an existing websites, or that you don't have enough services, enough quality, enough offerings that you need COD to sell. So we've seen a website here in the region that is very, very successful and was using COD almost from the start. And overnight, they took it off, and their sales were not impacted at all. Actually, they keep increasing their sales. And that's a great experience. And I mean, our view, our hope would be that the whole region suddenly would take a group approach and would say that they would stop using COD, so that every consumers would be able to shop from all those websites, but at the same time experience the electronic payments. Now, if you're a merchant, again, the reason why we're pushing against COD is because the return rates on COD is huge, because the consumers don't feel any obligation to buy. Also, there's a lot of hidden costs that you don't see, because you have to handle the cash, you have to wait for the treasury to come in, and so on. So there are a lot of costs with COD. As a consumers, the costs are even more hidden, because a lot of consumers believe that they need to use, they want to use cash, or they don't have alternatives. What we found out in our research is that almost 70% of COD users today have a credit card. That's incredible if you think about it. And the way it works is the following. Whenever they're buying from an international website, so whether it's eBay, it's Walmart.com, or whatever, they're using their credit card, their debit card. So they all have a card, they buy something, they use card, because they don't have a choice, but they want to, and they use it. Whenever they're buying from the same websites, but locally, so souk.com, for instance, Jadopado, or things like that, they're using COD. Actually, so Jadopado is the website that cut COD, and so now they're not offering it anymore. But so think about it. The consumer habit was corrupted, as I said, because the websites here thought that they had to offer it, but when they don't, they still see some great sales. So our hope is to help merchants learn to live without COD, and also to educate consumers to understand that all those hidden costs are very dramatic for them, because at the end of the day, they're missing the whole opportunities of e-commerce. If they have to be home to wait for the package, if they have to have cash on hand to pay for the package, it decreases the whole convenience of e-commerce. Now, I think we've seen those trends already from Ipsos just before, in terms of the way people are using their tablets and mobiles and desktop. It changes every day. It changes the days of the week as well, especially in the region where the weekend is a bit different from the rest of the world. But also, the way they're using cash depends on the platform that you're using. So I'd like to focus a little bit more on a great experience that we're seeing more and more today, which is called showrooming. So here you've got a great Emirati lady that just spent 4 hours in a shoe store, and she had the whole store opened up so that she could try all the different shoes. And then she says to the sales clerk, who is going to make the sales of the year, by the way, what's your Wi-Fi password so I can buy from an online store and not pay you for all your services? So that's what a lot of offline stores suffered in the last few years, especially with market disruptors such as Amazon. So Barnes & Noble's Borders all went under almost because they couldn't compete with people that went to their stores, looked at their books offline, and then went on Amazon from their store, from the Amazon app, scanning the barcode and ordering from Amazon. So the same thing could happen to shoe stores and a lot of retail stores everywhere. And a lot of those stores today, especially in the UAE, are from great brands, great franchises, and they don't have online presence. If you look at the top 10 websites in the UK today, 6 of them are all offline players like Marks & Spencer, Tesco, that went online and became huge success. If you look at the top 10 websites today in MENA, all of them, so all 10 of them, are all pure players. Souk.com, Marca VIP, Jadopado, and so on. All of them are pure players. So the offline stores, the great retail brands, are missing the opportunity to offer their wares, their products, to online consumers. And again, what those offline stores have is they have great trust. They have great stores where they can offer what we call omni-channel, which is the opportunity to start your order online and then go offline to pick it up, or to try it offline and then have it delivered at your home even before you get home, actually. And which is what we call reverse showrooming, which is also very, very popular today, and which is, I believe, the way to help offline stores survive the online onslaught and attacks from some online retailers that are not helping the little guys or even the offline brands access great traffic, like for instance eBay is doing. eBay doesn't sell their own products. What they do is they offer their own traffic to offline stores or to small stores so that they can sell with the great platform that we offer. And so what you do is reverse showrooming, is that you offer your consumers the ability to go in your stores, try your products, and then you order them online. If you look at the Apple stores today, actually almost all the sales happen online. Even when they have this portable POS device, you come, you try the iPhone or the computer, you like it, and then when you go, sometimes you can pay directly with an offline or online POS, or sometimes you just order directly from the computer that is in front of you at the store from Apple's online store. So looking at those trends, what PayPal is trying to do to offer the ability to offline stores to offer the same kind of CRM services and the same time of personal touch that you get when you're online. When you go on a store, on an online store, and you log in, you have always like a welcoming message that says, "Welcome back, Francis. Here are your special promotions of the day. We know last time you bought this. Now you should like to. I'm sure you would like to buy this," and so on. When you're offline, you don't know that. You cannot offer that. So this is the beacon. With the beacon, which is a low energy Bluetooth device, what it does is that it offers the offline stores the ability to identify incoming customers and offer them the same CRM. Because when I log in and I come into a store, they see me and says, "Welcome back, Francis," and they see all the information from my past purchases at the store. So suddenly you're giving the little guys the same chance to fight back as the big guys. So this is an experience that we ran in New York with Kate Spade. So they were working on a huge store that was being refurbished, and behind that you've got a lot of construction, and they have this great real estate that is closed for months. So what they did is they had a small shop window with a screen, and so people could see a sample of the store products, and they were ordering online, but looking at the offline samples, and they were ordering online within 2 hours, it was delivered at their home. So that's what eBay and PayPal did. So right now we're expanding to new countries, again, to offer the same kind of services that we do to offline stores, to online stores, to help the little startups, the little guys grow and expand. So last year we opened in Egypt, actually. The reaction was just amazing. We had people that said, "Now I can die in peace, PayPal is in Egypt," or "You've been a good Muslim, you've prayed, and you've been heard." So it was just incredible how much we've been embraced. The reason why is very simple. When an Egyptian wants to buy online, 95% of the time his credit card is declined, because merchants don't trust the Egyptian credit cards, banks of the merchants don't trust the credit card, or even the bank of the consumer doesn't want him to use his credit card outside of Egypt. With PayPal, this decline rate was divided by almost 5. So that allows Egyptians to finally shop online, buy from all over the world, buy books and services from all over the world, and bring them to Egypt. So now we're on more and more merchants every day in the region. So some local offerings like ICFlix, which offers what they call Jazzwood, which is Arabic content. Just today, actually, we launched on Dubizo. So that's going to allow some people that list their products, like garages or real estate companies, to pay with PayPal safely and more conveniently to offer those postings to the Dubizo traffic. And every day we're trying to offer our safety and convenience to more consumers and merchants around the region. And so last month, we announced a partnership with Cairo Women Bank, the same one that we did with QNB in Qatar. The Cairo Women Bank partnership allows consumers to pay from their online banking all over the world, to send a payment with just an email address. It allows also to use their bank account to top up their PayPal account. But most of all, allows merchants to finally withdraw from their PayPal account to a bank account in Jordan. And at the end of the year, we'll launch PayPal in Arabic. So by the end of the month, we'll have PayPal on iOS in Arabic, which is a great new development. We'll have it in Android around Q3 or Q4. And we'll have the website and the customer support by the end of the year or early next year. So again, we're really trying to offer local products and make sure that we increase our presence in the Middle East. And that's it. If you have any questions, go ahead, I'm close. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Yazin, and so you spoke about the importance of the Middle East to PayPal, and that's great. But to date, my understanding is that PayPal doesn't support a single local currency. What am I missing here?
That's a good question, and I had a bet actually with my colleague here that would be one of the first two questions I would get here today. So PayPal is available in 193 markets, and unfortunately we cannot add at once 193 currencies. So whenever we come into a market, we start with offering consumers the ability to pay online all over the world. Then we add the services for merchants. And then after a few years, once we are able to build history, a more local presence, then we add a currency. It just takes time. We cannot have everything at once. And what we see today is that by offering PayPal to consumers, most of the time they use it to buy outside of the region. So they buy in USD or in the currency of the merchant where they buy from. So local currency is great for merchants. It's also great for consumers. At the same time, it just takes time to add it.
Yeah, it's just a frustration to merchants selling to people in the Middle East. Like,
but,
if I'm a merchant based here and I'm selling to someone in the Middle East, why do I charge them in USD?
So your frustration means that you want more from PayPal and you like the services, but you want even better services.
I'd love to give PayPal the excuse that, okay, it's a startup, but it's not a startup. It's been around 16 years, and it still has horrible support for the Middle East. So
I mean, support is getting better, and I think we're still a startup in spirit. So because we are now
16-year-old startup?
Well, you know, because it's very important. When you're a 16-year-old person, you're still a teenager, right? So.
Hi, Francis.
Hi.
Just to follow on from the last point, I also run a small e-commerce business. If we can't get the currency, can we get the facilities? We don't have withdrawn $500 a day. Doesn't really help my cash flow. If I make a sale for 4,000 dirhams, I can only withdraw that back into my P&L of increments of 500 US a day. That's quite prohibitive. And that's the reason why 80% of my business is COD.
Okay, thanks for your question. Actually, my bet was that this would be the second question that would come today.
Well,
so the good news is that we'll have a withdrawal solution in the UAE in the next few months. So that will come before the currency. We'll have a local withdrawal solution to any bank account in the UAE. In dirham, so you'll be able to withdraw your USD funds from PayPal into AED in dirham. And so they will be for a very small cost that will include the foreign exchange, so you won't be double taxed. So that will come in the next few months, sooner than you think, and sooner than I hope. And so that will be available with no limits of withdrawal, so you won't have the 500 or 2,500 limits. So that's one thing that we address, and then the currency will hopefully come next. Again, we know how important it is. We know how important it is as well, so that's why we hear the merchants. You mentioned our support can be better, and we know that. And we are always working on listening in and trying to add some more services. So that's one thing that we're adding almost right away. And so hopefully you'll be very happy, and next time we meet, you'll tell me, thank you very much, Francis. At least you've solved one problem. Now let's get to the next one.
Integrated gateways?
Sorry?
Integrated gateways.
So you mean?
In US PayPal, sorry.
Oh, so you mean
integrated
in-page
shopping carts?
So
yeah,
in-page payment?
Yeah, so that customers aren't coming off my website onto PayPal to make. Currently, I'm working off a hack from my shopping cart to PayPal, sorry, and it's a hack. Whereas in the States, the UK, we can integrate it, we can change the graphics, and the customers never leaving. They're not leaving our site. Is that coming?
So what we found out is that in the UAE and in the region, a lot of consumers, when they see the PayPal logo and they click on Pay with PayPal, they expect to be redirected because it's the same experience almost all over the world. What you're describing here is more when people pay with credit cards directly on website. Sometimes they can pay, if they pay with their PayPal account, they're always redirected to a PayPal page, always. And that's what we try to give. We give the same level of trust to all over the world. So consumer, whether they're paying on a US website, on a UAE website, they have the same experience. So they know there's going to be a hosted page by PayPal, and that it will have the level of security from PayPal. And so that's what they want. So what we're trying to offer right now is what we call inflow payments or mini browser login, which almost comes close to what you have. But again, it will always be hosted by PayPal because our security measures will always be as strong as they can be, and they're the ones that assures the customers that they'll always be safe.